Hi, we are in the portion Vayakhel-Pekudei. It's also the portion of my birthday. Vayakhel mean gathering. Moses is gathering the sons of Israel and giving them all the details, Pekudei, of how to build the house of God, Mishkan. In the portion before, the Mishkan, the house of God, is as well being mentioned, but how to build it, the attention, etc. But in those two portions, it's the action. It's to bring down to details the house of God and actually doing it. And Moses is giving the instruction to the sons of Israel, and all the details of the Mishkan are being brought up again in this portion. Building the house of God, meaning as well building a place, the divine, the godliness within us. In the Mishkan there were Lamed Tet Melachot, meaning 39 doings, that those are the fathers of all doing, of all melachot, meaning they are the roots of all doing. And those 39 doing are not allowed to do in Shabbos. It's really interesting to see that every time when it's talking about building the divine temple, the house of God, it's being mentioned, but when Shabbos is coming, stop of doing anything. You're not supposed to do it. In this meeting, I want to concentrate into one of those doing. If those 39 Lamed Tet doing, Melachot, are being done in the Mishkan to build a house to God, those are as well the 39 doing, things that we need to do with ourselves in order to refine ourselves and to bring the divine into us and to become like a small temple to God. There are things that you're supposed to do in thought, in speech, heart feeling, and in action. Those two portions talks about the action, the actual deed. As well in life, a person can talk highly, can think highly. He can really like being absorbed with divine and to feel this divine fire within him. He's realizing that God created the world. When he's looking at creation, and it doesn't matter, it can be heaven or earth. It can be looking at an animal or a human being, at a flower, and he's just like contemplating, he's visualizing, like guided imagination. He's like meditating on creation, and he feels this beautiful divine light. But as long as he's not bringing it into action, the person himself doesn't feel good. He doesn't feel in a way worthy. He knows that he talk highly, he think highly, but when it's coming into action, each and every one of us feel like a friction, an obstacle. How hard is to bring really this divine wisdom into action. So let's concentrate on one of the doing, melacha. One of the melachot that it says not to do in the Mishkan is lo tevaru esh bechol moshvotechem beyom HaShabbat, and you should not light fire in your places where you are sitting, living, in Shabbos. So meaning, when you want to build the temple within, if you understand the inner wisdom behind all those melachot, all those 39 melachot doing, so you can really build the temple within. Let's see how we build the temple within with this doing melacha of fire, of not burning fire. It's really interesting that when you're looking at the halacha says that you cannot light a fire when you need something out of this fire. For example, it's warmth, it's light, or your need of its ash. This fire you cannot light on Shabbat, in Shabbos. But if you, for example, want to corrupt your table and to light up your table, and you don't need for anything, and you don't need a thing out of this fire, warmth, for its light, to read, or its ash, then you are not chayav for this fire, meaning that you won't be punished for this fire. Now this is interesting. Let's understand what is the fire in our inner spiritual work, in our self-refining journey. Fire is igniting the soul within. It says in the book of Mishle by King Solomon, Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. The candle of God is the soul of a human. Sometimes many people can get confused. What is my duty in life? What am I here to do? Why am I here for? When I look at life and I see it's like one big movie, and more when I look deep into it, I see it's Hevel Avalim. It's really nothingness. There's lots of emptiness if there's no meaning to life. What is our duty? Ner Hashem. You're supposed to be a candle. And you're supposed to enlighten the candle within, and to enlighten your surroundings. How you enlighten your surroundings, your relationship? By a good thought, a good speech, and action. And what is the most important, you think? Action. You can talk about love, you can express love, but when it's not coming down into action, you yourself do not feel whole. You feel that something is missing. The highest elevation, when really a person is ascending, when he's connecting his thought, feelings into his action, into this realm. So let's see. Fire within the soul is our neshama. We're supposed to enlighten it. It's supposed to be really, you need to feel this fire. You need to feel really this love towards Hashem, this love towards creation, this love towards your duty. Who are you? Why you came to the world? You've been chosen to enlighten, to connect the divine wisdom, the light, into this reality. When a person realizing it, he's feeling elevation. When those understandings, those insights, that there is meaning to his life, seeping into his consciousness, he feels the fire within. He feels like wow. And sometimes we all going towards those like phases in life, especially the Baalei Tshuva. But this is not the real purpose of that elevation, of feeling this beautiful passion and light of Hashem. The real purpose is when you're connecting it into action. The Torah is coming and saying, when really it's a real fire, when you're lighting a real fire, when there is a purpose to it. You need to the ash, you need for its warmth, to its light. That's a real fire. But this fire of passion and divinity, when, for example, when someone is being absorbed with Kabbalah or Hasidut or with beautiful, ancient wisdom, so he feel like elevation. To this kind of fire, there is no purpose. According to the Torah, this is not a real fire. How you're supposed to build the divine house within you, your own Mishkan, your own temple, when this fire have a purpose. When we look at ash, we see that really it's the lowest, how to say, the lowest thing in this mundane, in this reality, in this physicality, because the fire burns whatever it burns and it turns into ashes. It's so low. So what the Torah is saying, that the purpose, it's the ash, the lowest material. All kind of awakening towards Hashem that doesn't have purpose, that there's no need for the ash, for warmth, for light, this is not a real fire. But when you directing this beautiful elevation, when all those understandings out of your life story like elevate or seep in, and you connecting it to the mundane, you connecting it to bringing to, for example, to strengthening the divine wisdom in your reality, in your relationships, in your neighborhood, when you're connecting to the will of Hashem, which are the mitzvot. When you're doing a mitzvah with the actual physical, with the mundane, when you're washing your hands, when you're blessing over an apple, that's when you're connecting the will, the beautiful light of Hashem, this fire, into this actual world. Sometimes people can say maybe it's a contradiction. You're talking about something that is spiritual and then it's physical. Actually, there's no contradiction, because really the purpose of this creation, it's for the elevation that will come in the redemption. And how the elevation will come in the redemption? Thanks to your work, but in action. Vayakhel-Pekudei, really building the temple. For example, if you're drinking a glass of wine and you suddenly elevating on beautiful spiritual talk, but are we really connecting those ideas, my beliefs, to this actual world? So that's the purpose of creation. God created this world. Nit'avalo HaKadosh Baruch Hu dira batachtonim. The passion of the Creator, that He will build a temple here, that He can live with us, that we will prepare this mundane to the reality to come. And this we're doing by the mitzvot. A work like that brings the world to its purpose, that you're connecting the fire within to your deeds, to your action. There's a beautiful story that can a bit explain of the idea in depth of Admor HaRashab, Rabbi Shalom Ber, the fifth tzaddik, sage of the dynasty of Chabad. When he was little, only 4 years old, he was at a house when the tailor appeared and brought a dress or a suit to the rabbi's house. So the mother paid the tailor, and the little one, Admor HaRashab, looked at the bag and he saw a bit of the material, the cloth. And he pulled the cloth outside, and then the tailor got embarrassed that he didn't return the cloth, because according to divine wisdom, according to the mitzvot, when you're getting a material, 1 meter on 1 meter, for example, and you making out of it a dress, and there are leftovers, you're supposed to bring the leftover back to the one that brought you the material. You're not supposed to keep them. So the tailor got really embarrassed and said, oh, I forgot there's well this material, and he took it out and handed over to the Rebbetzin, to the wife of the Rebbe. Then the wife of the Rebbe turns into the child and telling him, you had to do what you did. You know, it wasn't so nice. Rabbi Shalom Ber, the little one, understood straight away. He went to his father and he asked him, Papa, when I'm embarrassing a Jew, a friend, a human in public, what I'm supposed to do in order to fix it? What's the punishment for it? So the father, the Rebbe, is asking his son, why? Something happened? So the little one says, no, he didn't say anything. A little bit time after that, the Rebbe is asking the child, her son, tell me, in the story that you told to father, to Papa, did you tell him the whole story? Why you didn't tell him the whole story? So he told to his mother, Mama, it's enough that I'm embarrassed a person, a fellow Jew. I don't need to talk as well bad and to gossip about it. I don't need to go into Lashon Hara and Rechilut. Because if you'll start talking about it, for sure you will fall into gossiping and talking bad about the situation. So it's enough what I've done. And in this story we see so beautiful, so gentle, how already from small age the Rebbe, we're trying to work out how to bring the divine wisdom into action. I bless you all with Besorot Tovot and success. See you in the next book. This portion of the week, Vayakhel-Pekudei, it's the end of the book of Exodus. See you in the next book.